Hello, this is Bridget Rao with Divine Essentials. I've tried to start this recording 8 or 9 times now. I'm not even sure. I've been sick, I've been unwell. I haven't been recording much because of that. I'm literally sweating my ass off right now just from standing here trying to do this. And the dogs are driving me crazily insane right now. I asked my dad one question, and I've got back like 12 texts about that one question, and they're like totally unrelated. Not. It's just like I just wanted to know one thing, but it's been weird. So, I feel like this may be tied in to these people. Okay, we're talking about the Mintakan souls, and as soon as I said I was gonna do the Mintakan souls, so many synchronicities came up with them. I was on TikTok, I think yesterday, and it was like, which starseed are you? And the Mintakan popped up. And like last week, I saw a girl who I've never seen before on Instagram, and she was talking about Mintakans and how, like, they can have, they have like an ability, or their energy, their light, kind of attracts in stuff, like chaotic stuff. People kind of being like a pain in their ass. Entities attaching to them and sucking on them. And I keep getting that, like, type of energy around, like that feeling around, like I know there's people out there right now, and again, I just know, and there's signs along the way that let me know that I'm not crazy either, that like, okay, this person's been talking about you, clearly, and like, just things that I see that, like, I don't know if other people would put it together, but like, I see it very clearly, and I know Spirit's showing me, like, why, or who, and all of that. So you may have those things in your life where it's like, okay, like I just know that like so and so is not being who they appear to be face to face, or so and so, has brought in some sort of energy, or even just unknown. Like we could have unknown shit going on, like me being so sick for an extended amount of time after literally not being sick for a decade, like. The only time I got sick was like with Lyme and things like that. Like I haven't had a sickness since my awakening. Okay, so sometimes I feel like that can be like when you get beat down a little bit. Like I was busting my ass working in a very unfair situation, and then they screwed me over even more at the end. They didn't pay me correctly, and they're just very like doing shady things. But that pulls down your energy, and then that makes you susceptible to other things happening. That's like, it starts roller coaster, and it's like, oh, let's go attack now because she's low, her vibe is low. Get in there. Well, we can. So you may have things like that in your life. You may have attachments show up. You may have attachments you don't even know are there. Like dark entities, like the archons or the draconians, and again, I don't like to categorize everybody into bad or evil or whatever, but there is always light and dark. And even, Mintakan souls can have a dark side. So, I feel like all of this has been kind of put there because these are things that I thought about talking about, but I didn't put on the list, and they're already coming out. So, here we go. Now, when I talked about the Orion souls, I talked about having a deep connection with water and dolphins and whales and things like that. And I said I felt like that was like an overall for most starseeds anyways, but with the Mintakan specifically, you're very much more connected to water than maybe just a regular Orion energy would be, or some of like the Arcturians or Lyrans, things like that, like water, and the Mintakans are very deeply connected, so you'd be deeply connected to emotions, and not just your own emotions, but the emotions of others. You may be somebody that goes with the flow of things as well, or you just feel the flow of things. You recognize like the shifting of stuff. Something's up. Like it's not going to trick you. So, a love of ocean, lakes, bodies of water, a feeling, a sense of peace or belonging when you're there, an affinity for the marine life, like whales and dolphins and other creatures that are living in the ocean. And like my whole life, I never felt right about eating anything out of the ocean. Like I don't like it at all. I don't know why. I've eaten other animals, but when it comes to the ocean, I'm like, no. And then as I grew up, my reasoning for it has also evolved into hell no. Because it's like, they're dumping tons of stuff in there, guys. Like, that's radioactive crap now. Like, radioactive poop. Like, is basically what they've been dumping, and that makes me sad. Like, I don't want that happening in there. But I definitely don't want to eat it. But I always had that thing of I don't want to eat it, even before I knew that they were dumping stuff in there. So I feel like that's on a deeper connection. It's not just because I'm like, ew, it's gross. It's because it does not feel right to me to be eating things out of the ocean. It just doesn't. So a natural gift for healing others, both physically and emotionally, and an intuitive understanding of the flows of energy and consciousness. So similar to like the flow of the ocean, you know. I feel like you would be somebody that's very much in tune with the moon, very much in tune with the ocean. You may not even be aware of it consciously, but you would probably just naturally go with things and have stuff happen. Like I was saying, like, oh, I'm going to do a Mintakan next, and then Mintakan pops up everywhere as like the confirmation. Oh, yeah, you should do that. You may have those things just naturally flow into your life. You may naturally pay attention to them. And the stronger you awaken your gifts and your abilities, the more stronger that would probably become. So yeah, other people may come to you because you're very empathic, very compassionate. You may want to make the world a better place, and people may pick up on that around you, and they may want to dump some of their stuff on you too. So sometimes us having like these attachments or negative things coming at us, it may not even be consciously like, oh, let me hurt her. But people who are suffering or struggling or dealing with those things unknowingly may come to you with them and then onto you. Some people can hear a sad story or see a sad situation and disconnect from it and not be emotionally impacted by it. There's certain things that I will see that will destroy my week, especially when it has to do with animals or when it has to do with like just really bad things. And it's like, I don't even want to see it. I don't want to know about it. But then there's people out there that are like, oh, I got to tell you about this. And it's like, no, no, I don't want to hurt. Get it away. You may have that happen. You may have that deep empathy, and you may notice it more intensely in yourself than others. Or it may be more amplified with animals than people, or maybe more amplified with babies than adults. Like however it manifests in yourself will be how it manifests, but you will probably have a deep sense of others, stuff. Like it's going to hit you just as much as it hits them, and it's probably going to stick around. You could be also very creative through art, music, and other like healing frequencies. So you may, tie those things together. You may be a very creative spirit. You may, be somebody that's going to just like, I'm just going to do it and just do it. You don't need someone to hold your hand through the process. Very creative, which I think is very intuitive. People who are creative are intuitive. You give us a bunch of shit, we look at it, and we intuitively are like, oh, let's put that there, and that there, and that there, and let's do this, and wow, it's so cool, and it's beautiful, and like these colors go perfect. So I feel like very intuitive, in tune, emotionally empathic people are going to also be very creative people. And you may have that in you very strongly. Music may impact you very strongly. Certain songs can make you like, yeah, or so be aware of that, be aware of those things so that you can use them to help you. And you may want to have more harmony and balance with yourself and others. If people are causing you distress, or they're constantly dumping their stress on you, or they make you feel anxious, or you could just tell something's off with them, you probably don't want them around you. It's like, I just want balance and harmony. Like, I want to help you, but I'm not going to help you to my own demise. However, with the Mintakans, I feel like in the beginning of their life, they may let other people hurt them. They may help others to their own demise. You may be too soft, too sensitive to put up those boundaries and be like, no, you're no good for me. Or no, you're doing this like to me now. Like, you're hurting me. And that's something you probably have to learn to be like, no, like, I got my own stuff. I don't need yours on top of it. So depending on where you are in your awakening may be dependent on how much that happens to you. And it may just be like something you go through. I've had it happen a lot where it's like people come in, I feel bad for them, I do way too much, then I get burnt, And then it's like, oh, here comes another one to do the same thing. But over time, it's like, oh, I can see what this is. No. So I'm not gonna let you come in because I don't want to deal with the after effects or the in-between effects or any of it. Like, no. So be aware of that. Just know that you may be susceptible to having people with you, okay? And then ancient wisdom and cosmic awareness, like you probably are somebody that people will tell you like, oh, you're so wise, or they come to you for advice, or consciousness, like hearing the concepts that we hear out here, like Christ consciousness or collective consciousness or baba da boop. You might be somebody. I don't think everybody has to have this to be this, but you may just kind of get it. Like, you don't need someone to tell you what that means. You don't need a freaking dictionary of stuff. Like, you just know. You just know, like, what that means. Like, and I think that's going to go across the board for a lot of people. Like, I know, like, these ideas somewhere deep within, like, they're already there. It's a remembering more than it is, like, an introduction. So, you'll probably be more tuned and more awakened and more conscious than others, just naturally, and it just naturally comes to you. And you may help other people to understand those concepts. Like when someone's like, what does that mean, you would be the one that would have the answer. A feeling of being an old soul carrying a sense of ancient wisdom beyond their apparent age. So like I was saying, as a child, you may have been somebody that was just like your parents' parent, or you may have been somebody that just had those things awaken in you, like right and wrong. Don't do that. Like, you didn't need someone to tell you that it's wrong to hurt people's feelings. You didn't need someone to tell you, like, these concepts that a lot of people struggle with as they age, even. And it's like, why are you doing that? Like, we learned that in kindergarten. I think some of us learned it before we got here. And so you would be somebody that had learned it before you got here. Like, no. And I think that's a soul level thing. Some people here don't know right from wrong. They don't do things that make any sense to other people because their soul is still evolving and they're still young on that level, but you would be an old soul. Strong intuition and connection to the spirit world and the higher realms, which again would give you that more wisdom. It would give you that more, like, awareness or those answers. So again, it's kind of tied into all of this, like just aware of that there's more, aware that there is star beings, aware that there is consciousness within because there's people out there, like I see them in the comments of things, like on a video about a dog, and it's like they're surprised that a dog has feelings, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why wouldn't it? Like, what is happening here? And it makes me very like, oh, because I can imagine these people who would get a dog and do things like, it's an outside dog, like, it just lives outside all the time, because whatever, it doesn't have feelings, and it's like, ah! Like, traumatizes me that people are so unaware, and it's like, that animal is way more conscious than you, way more aware than you, way more sensitive than you. If you could do stuff like that, like, and sometimes it's cultural, or it's like where people were brought up, or who brought them up, but like, I don't care. Like, I've seen people in my life as a child who were doing things that I was like, that's not right. I didn't need someone to tell me that, like, an animal is a sensitive being and it needs love. Like, it's just a natural instinct. So you probably have that inside of you. You probably get mad when you hear of, like, people doing stupid shit or saying stupid shit, or it confuses you. Like, how are they so dumb? Like you're the dog in the situation, man, not the dog. So, yeah, that type of, like, getting, like, what the hell is, I think, another sign of this, just a very deep wisdom, strength within yourself that's like, this ain't right. And then an inexplicable longing for a world beyond Earth and a sense of being homesick. So you're like, I know, here ain't right. Like, when I heard something yesterday where I think it was Dolores Cannon saying that Earth is like hell. I'm like, yes. I've been saying that for a long time. This is hell. When we leave, anywhere but here is better because of what's going on it. But we're not supposed to escape and run away. We're supposed to be here to help, to get better, because it is very bad. the things that happen here and the way that people are and the interests of so many, and it corrupts you just being here. You get sucked into it through the programming and through the waves and all this bullshit, and there's just so much bombarding us all the time. So don't feel bad if you have a day where you get sucked into it, but just try to rise above and remember you're here to bring earth, bring home to earth, or the frequency of home to earth. A natural understanding of sacred geometry and its connection to the universe. So you may not be like an expert at sacred geometry and all that. You may not know all the terms of it, but you could probably start picking up the patterns of it, or it may just resonate with you. Like I remember the first thing I ever made for my logo was like the flower of life, and then later on that kept popping up for me in different ways through synchronicity. And then I learned more about sacred geometry and how it's like intertwined into everything. Like literally everything is designed out of the sacred geometry. So you may just resonate with the shapes, or you may go deeper into the exploration of it and understanding what those different things are, where they are, and how it plays out. But yeah, things like that would probably call to you on one of those levels. Challenging and misfit feelings. So especially when you're younger, you probably feel like, I don't belong with these people. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't understand these. And it sticks with you forever, but I think we get more used to it as we go older. It's like we don't have the interest that these other people have. Like, getting a charcuterie board isn't your most important thing. You know what I mean? It's just a different outlook. It's what people place emphasis and importance on. You're not going to be that way. You're going to be like, what? Like, you understand it for them on some level, but you still don't. It's like, okay, and it's not like you're coming from like a snobby, bitchy place about it either. It's just that, like, that's just not for you. But that's okay. You don't have to feel weird about that. You don't have to feel like there's something wrong with you, because you're not all like, oh, we get the like, and the only reason I'm using that is because I've seen it an obsessive amount of times lately, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are they showing that so much? Like, an obscene amount of times I've seen things to do with a charcuterie board, and it just reminds me of a freaking Lunchable. I'm like, it's a fancy Lunchable, guys. Stop. And then a sense of not fitting in, feeling different from others, and struggling to find your place on Earth. So yeah, you may feel like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You're probably called more into video like this, or more into healing and Reiki, and just stuff that makes you feel like you're making a difference, stuff that makes you feel good, stuff that raises the vibration, stuff that's not like, oh, let me talk about you now and be mean, and you're not into that. It's just not there. Difficult with emotional intensity and sensitivity, feeling overwhelmed by the negativity of the world. So again, I feel like some of this ties into like the neurodivergent stuff too, because neurodivergent, autism, ADHD, all of that, we have a very low tolerance for, like, when we get frustrated, we get mad, and we're like, ah! And then also just on any flip of emotions, it's more intense for us. And I think that's also a sign of being a star-seeded soul, or emotional, empathic person. Other people can handle these things because they've disconnected from them on some level. They're not impacted on the same degree that you would be. So don't feel bad about that. Like, if you flip the hell out, man. It's okay. Like, at least you're feeling. At least you're aware. At least you know. Like, this ain't right. Okay? But work on it. Look for emotional regulation techniques and trying to calm yourself down and relax, because it's not good for you. But don't let it mean something negative either. It doesn't always be like, just because they don't do it, like, what are they doing that's so wonderful that we're like, oh, I should be like them. No. Be like, I'm proud that I have emotions and a sense of all of this going on inside of me that wants to make this world a better place, because the negativity on the planet is not right. It's not a good thing. Don't let it make you be like, oh, something wrong with me because I'm not just fitting into all this bullshit. And then a strong pull towards solitude and introspecting, needing time to recharge and reconnect with your inner wisdom, just being like left alone, or with dogs or cats, whatever. It's going to make you feel better. going to make you feel better to just be like, let me just disconnect from everybody and everything, because we get overstimulated very easily. We're very in tune to things, and then when like the freaking sun flares and the retrogrades and the planets are happening, you're going to be like, it's a lot for you to deal with. And a tendency to question authority, societal norms, and seeking truth and liberation beyond like the established system. So you probably, again, would be like, why is things like this? Why are we doing that? Who the hell came up with that? Why is it still happening today? Like I keep seeing these like silly laws for different areas, like Connecticut or Massachusetts. It's like, it's just silly. And it makes me go to this place of like, why the hell did they even have to come up with that? Like, usually laws come about because like somebody did something stupid, and they're like, oh, they're gonna make a law about that now. But I'm like, who the hell and why? Like, why are we wasting so much of our time and energy on these silly, stupid things? But you look over here and nobody's doing anything about like these like major problems. And I try not to get caught up in that stuff either, because it is just another one of those things that will get you caught up in that like, nah, we'll separate and divide and conquer each other and hate each other and just Trump or Biden or blah blah. I'm like, neither one are like, like neither one are even doing anything really. When you go beyond there's a lot of stuff above that's like trickling down in there. There's an illusion around everything, and people have this illusion of choice, an illusion of, oh, red or wrong, red or blue, and it's like, it's an illusion, guys. It's an illusion, and we shouldn't even be wanting those things. We should just be like, collectively trying to help each other and be compassionate, but it's going to take a lot of work, So you may just be like, the system ain't right, and you may want to just kind of go off the grid, and they're not allowing you to do that, so it's like, I guess I'm stuck here in this gridded up weirdness, but you're here to change it. So keep shifting the timelines in your mind, in your energy. Know that there's nothing wrong with you. There's a lot going on around us that's not ideal, but we don't have to let it damage us any more than it already has, and we can help other people to awaken, but we don't want to stoop to other people's levels of being like, what the hell is wrong with you? If we want them to awaken, we want them to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, just approach it in a nice way. And try to stay away from the people who are going to drain you. If you feel like you have an attachment, call on spirit. And just ask for clarity, too. Like, anytime I need, like, I saw a thing about something to do, like, a person commenting their, like, Christian views and being like, the only way to heaven is through Jesus. And it was just, like, nothing about it that the guy wrote was nice. None of it was nice. It was a fear-mongering, like, bleh. And I'm like, and I said in my head, like, tell me the truth. And, like, the two posts under that was, like, this thing of this ancient thing that was written in ancient Egypt, and how, like, they literally translated it wrong on purpose so that they could further the agenda of the Christian belief. But it's like, guys, what about before that, too? Like people don't realize, like, there was all these other things going on before that happened. And, like, the way that none of it makes logical sense when they're like, I'm like, none of this makes sense on any level. Like, it's just a fairy tale. It's like a Santa Claus thing. And even Santa Claus is like the taking of pagan traditions and stuff and fucking with it and making it a lie. Even the New Year is not. Nothing that we have here is based off of anything that makes sense. It's a lot of just people deciding to mess with what was already. But it's, even if you go back to what was already, that doesn't have to determine your world, You determine your world. Don't let the world be like, oh, today is the first day of the year. If you don't feel that way, if you don't want to be like, oh, man, like, doing this thing, it's the middle of winter. Your body, your rhythm, all that stuff isn't going to want to be like, let's break into doing, like, these, like, yeah, every day I'm going to do this whole new me thing. Wait till March, when, like, the spring is sprung and good things are happening and it makes sense and you feel good and you're like, I want to do these things. Not when you want to hibernate. And, don't let the world mess you up too much. In Mene, namaste.